The allegedly pro-worker President-elect Donald Trump, laugh along with me, right, has announced his pick to become the new Assistant Secretary for Tax Policy at the Treasury Department. Well, who did he choose? I mean, a person dedicated to cutting the tax burden on the middle class and the working poor while raising it for the richest 1%? No, of course not. No, he chose Ken Keyes, a literal corporate lobbyist. Yes, that's right. Corporate lobbyist will be in this position because, of course. Now, Keyes is currently managing director of the Federal Policy Group. What's the Federal Policy Group? It's a lobbying firm that was hired last year by such giants as Microsoft and the Cruise Lines International Association, the American Automotive Leasing Association, and other large corporate interests. His records show a lot of wins for those clients. That's right. Keyes' profile on the Federal Policy Group's website touts significant legislative and regulatory results he has delivered to the major corporations, trade associations, and coalitions of companies with common objectives. What are those objectives? Well, it would be paying a lower tax rate and getting rid of regulations, which is the whole point of the Trump administration. A lot of his picks is to rob the American people while giving all the money to corporations and slashing regulations. That's it. That's it. Mr. Keyes has led a coalition efforts to enact legislation responding to the World Trade Organization's ruling against U.S. foreign sales corporation benefits to avert enactment of broad corporate tax shelter legislation, which would have been against these tax shelters, okay, where a lot of these companies hide their money in. They hide their money to avoid U.S. taxes. And so it's basically a robbery of the American people. Legislation that would have adverse impact on legitimate business transactions and to reverse Treasury regulations targeting hybrid arrangements of U.S. multinational corporations, among other projects. So that's his glowing profile, which is basically saying this guy is winning for giant corporations. Who do you think he's going to fight for? Is he going to fight for the average American taxpayer who right now is paying too much? Yes, working class people, middle class people, we are paying too much in state and local taxes, fees, etc. And the reason that we're doing so is because, well, rich people are not paying their fair share. Okay, and if you thought that Donald Trump was going to help the average working person, no, he's going to be helping himself and his friends. That's it. Their major plan for this upcoming administration is to cut the corporate tax rate to 15%. Yeah, that's it. And if that happens, by the way, Microsoft would receive an annual tax break of $4 billion. Imagine how much good you could do with $4 billion. Okay. I know you could fund school meals for children, but no, instead it's going to basically stay in the coffers of Microsoft. Great. I mean, here's the thing. You know who needs tax relief? Because there are people who do. Mom and pop shops. The average, working class person does. Microsoft does not. But guess what? They're going to get it anyway. Because the government is not going to be working for you. It's going to be working for the donors. If confirmed by the Senate, Keyes would work alongside billionaire hedge fund manager Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Department pick to lead the Treasury Department, as the second Trump administration pursues an extension of the 2017 tax cuts, which mainly benefited the extremely wealthy, okay, that are set to expire at the end of the year, as well as another rate cut, that 15% rate cut for giant corporations. So if you're concerned, by the way, about the debt, okay, then wouldn't the last thing you want to do is to cut your revenue? No. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense, right? And by the way, like, These giant companies don't need a tax cut. They're sitting on trillions of dollars worth of wealth right now. And yet Elon Musk and Ramaswamy with the Doge brothers, they're asking veterans to give up health care. Actually, not asking, they're telling the veterans, we're going to cut your health care. Poor people, give up your food and your Medicaid, your health care coverage. That's what they're going to do. And then they're going to come after Medicare and Medicaid Social Security benefits. That's it. The Washington Post reported on Thursday that Republicans are planning to offset some of the enormous projected cost of the tax package with tariffs, cuts to the SNAP program, and work requirements for Medicaid recipients. Work requirements that don't really work. Okay. They also are pushing to eliminate the education department because, of course, the same people that are like, American workers just too dumb for these tech jobs. That's why we have to bring in H-1B visa people from overseas are the ones that are cutting education. Yeah. And they also want to roll back clean energy programs, which ironically, wouldn't that benefit Musk to keep those and to prevent Medicare from covering Ozempic? But wait, I thought having tackling obesity would be a good thing because it would lower healthcare costs. No, well, we want to do that, but we also don't want to fund anything to help people lose weight because that's because we're just not interested in that. Oh, okay, great, yeah. Here's the thing. None of those programs really add a gigantic amount to the debt. What's added most of the money to the debt is tax cuts for the rich. Okay. We don't have a debt problem so much as we have a revenue problem. Not bringing in enough revenue because corporations are not paying their fair share. The wealthiest Americans are not paying their fair share. Okay. They have skewed the tax code in a way where they get away with paying a lot less than they traditionally have before. I mean, about the only time we actually had surpluses in the budget is when the rich paid their fair share. Now the costs, by the way, are getting shifted to the working class. We're stuck with the taxes and the fees. And the massive amount of debt continues to pile up. And so that's it. Now, that said, Trump is busy setting up the key players he plans to use to commit robbery on the American people. In addition to keys, Trump said on Thursday that he had selected Samantha Schwab to serve as deputy chief of staff at the Treasury Department. Sounds kind of swampy when you think about it, because Schwab is the granddaughter of billionaire investor Charles Schwab, who donated $1 million to Trump's 2017 inaugural fundraising committee. There it is. And there it is. This is a billionaire's cabinet, okay, being assembled by a billionaire. This is the richest group of people we have ever seen. That's it. And so the oligarchy, it's here. It ain't hiding anymore. It's not controlling things from the shadows. No, they're literally out in the open taking cabinet positions alongside of billionaire Donald Trump with billionaires Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk over there determining, hey, what kind of programs are we going to cut from average people in order to fund the massive amounts of breaks that are going to go to me. Oligarchy, it's here. It's already here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe with the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.